she was poor as they can. Well, besides not having a place to live.
Mm.
I said she was about as poor as they come, except for not having a place to live.
Had a place to live, but yeah.
You had a place to live, right? A roof over her head.
What about you? What did you stayed for a month, right? Your first time?
Yeah, when I first went over, I stayed for a month, because I just left a job for 16 years and was gonna start another job. But when I went over, first thing I seen is crowded. You know, like I said, when I got out of the airport, seen crowds, and it was real crowded. Reminded me of New York, you know. But I didn't see tin roofs or anything. I wasn't really in a bad area. You know, it
They
was
had
like,
shingles.
well,
Well,
they had.
you weren't in the city, right? You were where? You were in the province, they call it?
Like place.
Well, no, the province was my second trip. The first trip I was in the city, but I didn't see.
Okay.
See, the Philippines are broken up. Sometimes they're broken up in sections: worst section, middle class section, and the rich section. Because the fact is, you know, like here, I mean, like in the United States, I mean, we got poor, middle class, rich, you know, and that's where I was kind of in, but I didn't get that deep until 10 roofs until I got into the province, the second trip.
Some of your buildings downtown that don't have tin roofs, you know what I'm
Right. I mean, I went to a mall that looked.
You see bamboo houses.
Right, you see bamboo houses and stuff like that. But I mean, I've seen a little bit of rundownness, but not that much, you know. The buildings was old. I mean, they're backdated, you know, like back in the 50s, 40s, you know, because some of the areas are not.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean,
I didn't see that, but like you said, I didn't see no tin roofs until I got down to a province and I seen tin roofs because they don't have mailboxes and stuff like that.
Nah, dude, that kind of amazes me how the mailman finds the house. Ain't even a house number, not a street name or nothing.
No,
well, yeah, they got street names.
Nothing.
No, dude, like how in the hell does the mailman know? I guess the mailman grew up around there and he knows everybody. It's like,
right.
I hope he don't forget who the hell I am. Oh, that's that American that's here.
Right. So yeah, when I went there, I didn't see, like I said, I didn't see all them tin roofs. I seen normal roofs and stuff like that. But one thing, when I did go there, when I was there, my last 2 weeks, it rained a lot. They didn't have drainage, and that's something in the Philippines. Whew. They don't have drainage like they have in the United States. You know, when their streets flood, they flood. It's like you got to get a canoe or you walking through that stuff. It's like that
level.
No.
Yeah.
So that's a bad situation because you have a lot of, you know, pollution and sewage and all that stuff running through your house and destroying mattresses and all your little furnitures and stuff like that. And that becomes a problem.
The funny thing is, so I don't think anyone or anywhere in America, people understand what kind of flooding it is. And so I'll put pictures up so you can see the kind of flooding and some videos.
Mm-hmm.
America, I think Americans would be devastated and be like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing that's ever hit us. We need money from FEMA. We need to have more money, you know, brought in government. And yet you'll see the Philippine people swimming, playing, having a great time, even though they can't go in the bottom floor of their house. If they have 2 floors, hopefully, you know, they'll go outside, you know, hopefully there's no sharks, you know, floating around. Just swim and play around because it's a big pool for everybody right now while the storm's going on, you know.
Community pool.
In the worst conditions.
Oh, that just floated by.
What did you say?
I said, what was this that just floated by?
But we'll have the greatest time in the worst conditions, you know? And that speaks to their spirit, you know?
Right. They're still happy.
Yeah.
Still smiling.
They are happy people, man.
And that's another attraction to me, from me to them.
The happiest.
You know.
They know how to mind their own business too, man.
Very, very true.
Well,
So give me a negative experience, just one, Dave. One negative experience you had in the Philippines. Could be something small or big.
The only negative thing that I can speak about the Philippines is their food does not have the chemicals and stuff in it that our food has.
That's a negative.
And no, I mean, it's the only negative thing I can really come up with. I mean, when you go from food that's got a bunch of chemicals in it to food that's probably just been killed that day or whatever. I mean, it has no additives or preservatives in it and all the shit that we're used to. I mean, it makes you sick, man. I mean, you get sick, you just I mean, yeah, you just after I can do 2 weeks. If I go 3, I'm sick.
Okay.
I can't take it no more.
So Will, what about you? What's a negative experience?
Medical.
Medical? So what do you mean?
No, yeah.
Their medical over there ain't top notch like ours are here in the United States. A lot of people that I've heard that has to have a major, well, foreigners as we are to them, when they go over there and something goes wrong with them and they got to have surgery, they usually fly back to their home country to have surgery or do what they got to do to get better. Or
Most go to Manila. They got to fly to Manila where there's
right.
Manila's supposed to have good best hospitals.
I've learned that they've got insurance now, but I think it was only for, I don't know if it's for a certain amount of people or
Bill Health or something like that.
Yeah. They have insurance now, but my recent experience with my wife and stuff, my father-in-law, they held him hostage until he paid the bill.
Me, I about died in the Philippines. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So
I got bit by a mosquito landed on a bite or on a.
So the less fortunate have it worse than the fortunate do over there. Like over here, if we don't have the money, I mean, we gotta go to emergency room. They bill us. Over there, they're like hold you hostage.
Yeah, well, they are a family member.
Yeah,
Somebody's not leaving the hospital till you come back with that money. But it's only.
Yeah.
But the difference is 100. I had EKG, 2 tetanus shots, penicillin, checked all my vitals, everything that they would do here would probably cost you about five to $7,000. There, $100 done and over.
Yes,
emergency room.
It's cheaper to have a baby in the Philippines than it is the U.S. No doubt about that. Because they got midwives. Some of them, my wife was born in the house, by a midwife. You know what I'm saying? And it's cheaper that way, But the problem with that is registering them. Sometimes they double register them. You know what I mean?
What was you gonna say, Adam? Because we can't. If we talk over you, you are cut out. We cannot hear you.
Right. But yeah, that's that. My problem is medical negative.
Too.
What's your problem, Al? But I'm negative on it.
What's that?
What's your negative about the Philippines?
Well, one negative I saw over there, and it's been almost 10 years since I've been there, and I'm sure it hasn't changed much, is just the poverty. It's
getting better, dude. They're getting McDonald's in some of these places now and everything, dude. It's advancing.
That's good. The thing that I saw was little kids, half naked sometimes, just sleeping on the sidewalk. And like wherever you live that has a big downtown. So Manila is where I stayed in the downtown Manila area. It's like a big city. It's not a third
one of their major cities. That's the capital of the Philippines.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a city, so it's not really a third world in that area in a sense. And there were little kids with just a shirt on, bottoms, or ragged clothes, sleeping on the sidewalk, resting for the day, begging for food. The worst thing that I saw there was a mother feeding her child who was no more than 2 years old, about the size of little Logan was 2 years ago, just a little kid. And she had a sugar packet. She opened up. The little kid had his mouth open, like that, like a little bird, and she was pouring sugar into his mouth, which has zero nutritional value. It's actually worse to do that to the kid. You know, she doesn't know. She's just giving the kid, he likes something sweet. I cried probably 4 or 5 times. I'd never seen poverty, like real poverty, like that up close. You see it on TV, you don't have that emotional connection because it's on TV.
Right.
And when I actually saw poverty like that, you know, I wanted to give everything I had away, but I know I couldn't get back if I did that. So I gave what I could. But yeah, it broke me down. The poverty that I saw there was pretty harsh. A quick positive would be I've never seen another group of people hustle to make as much money. So they'll work out the yin yang to make money, even a couple dollars a day. But the government there, and I'm not sure, you said it's getting better, I hope it is, doesn't give them a lot of opportunities to work. They do not. So if anyone in the Philippines is watching this, I'm not bashing on the people. I'm more so bashing on what I saw the government is not providing for the people. And I'm not talking about free money. What I'm saying is opportunity. You give your people opportunity and they'll thrive. Let them become producers. Let the older people who want to work and can work, work. Let the people that are not pretty or good personalities, as you call it, work. If you allow these people to work in any industry and they have a good personality, and you know they do, and I'm not talking about a pretty face, I'm talking about yes, ma'am, no, sir, and taking care of you and serving the people. What you should want is people to serve your customers coming in with a great attitude. Let the people do that, and then more people will have jobs. The poverty level will go down, and your country can thrive. And you won't depend on these freaks that come over there. And I'm not talking about the OGs here. I'm talking about freaks that come over there to have sex with kids, to have sex with women in and out. You know, people that go over there for evil intentions. And I'm about to cry and get mad. You'll have good people come over there and give, you know, right? They'll be over there for good purposes. And people down in the Philippines, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
People in the Philippines and think, you know, people go over there for bad intentions. And some do, but most don't. But the government, you have to give your people the opportunity to thrive. You have some of the best hearted people in some of the worst situations I've ever seen. And my heart goes out to those people, you know, kind of like where I'm staying right now here in the USVI, in the US Virgin Islands. I feel bad for a lot of these people because they live for the boats. And I'm sorry, guys, they live for the boats.
It's okay.
That come in here so that they can get, you know, people to give them money for things they make or whatever, and then they're gone. But they just had a horrible hurricane here. Your son knows this. Will's has family over here, and it's like, you know, I'm not putting this country down or this area down. It reminds me of the 1970s, like Sanford Son, a funny show where we're from, but it's just impoverished here, and it's not easy to. I wouldn't want to live here. It's not as good.
People we're just spoiled, man.
Well, we're spoiled, but it's okay to have. It's not bad to have.
Exactly. They don't have the opportunity to have.
Opportunity, exactly what I'm saying. And so I don't know who runs the USVI. I've never researched it. And it's kind of opened my eyes coming here a little bit. You know, it's not super poor here, but it's like being in the 1970s. Poor. It can do better because people, when a country relies on foreigners to come in to spend money for them to survive a little bit, it's not a good thing. You know, we need to be able to have opportunities. We have them in America, and people like, oh, I don't want to work for 15 or 16, even though that's what I cried and begged for, you know, for so long at McDonald's. Now nobody's working at McDonald's. You know, you can't anybody. We got, you know, they're hiring people for $17, $18 and nobody wants to work now because it's not a living wage because everything has gone up. And I'm not going to get into too much, but anyway.
And everybody said that would happen.
Hello. But anyway, yeah, that's one negative I saw is the poverty. And I went off on a Dave rant. Sorry.
It pisses me. I mean, the reason why I'm not crying because it pisses me off.
I don't normally get
It pisses me off that these countries don't give their people the same opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not the people's fault.
No.
So, I mean, instead of being emotional about it myself, it just plumb pisses me off.
Yeah, I understand that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel it, man. I feel it, but it's not an emotional thing for me. It just the emotion that it kind of is, but it's a pissed off emotion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I witnessed that myself when I went over the first time and stuff like that. And my wife took me to the mall and the restaurants and stuff like that. I've noticed how, you know, their citizens was dressed, how they looked. They don't in the mall, they look like models, you know, they had to look a certain way. They even had to have
You're right.
a college degree, you know, just to work in the mall. You know what I'm saying? Be a certain
McDonald's, right?
Yeah, McDonald's. They had to be a certain height, you know, and
it's no opportunity. It's discrimination.
It's discrimination.
No such thing as discrimination in these third world countries, man. None. You're not beautiful. You know, if you don't look a certain way or something like that, that's you do the job. How you can't survive.
Think about it. It's because they rely on foreigners to come over there. And what are men? What are we? We're visual. We like pretty things that are the typical prettiness, you know. Looking, that's how they're and my belief is they're thinking, well, if we put pretty people up here, guys and girls, then they'll spend their money more because we have pretty people. But that's not the truth.
They hired me.
Right. Yeah, that's not the truth.
Good service, and you're going to get that money. You know, you're going to give good service.
Yeah.
When Vanessa came here, I warned her. I said, okay, when we go to these restaurants or places, there is no hello ma'am, hello sir, and good service. I said, you may find it in a 4 to 5 star restaurant, but it's going to be really hard. And
expensive. Got to tip well.
She would like she's like, why'd she just hand the drink out and didn't say anything or thank you or here you go? And I'm like,
that's the way America is.
And not everyone, but most.
No respect. No respect for each other.
Right. It's entitlement a lot of times.
Right.
It was a culture shock for Jenna May.
Thank you.
It was a real culture shock for Jenna May because when she got here and I think either we went to the store or a restaurant or something like that, and she seen a 70-year-old working in the store and she was like,
yeah, Philippines it's like 60, right? Retirement 60.
She was shocked, man. She was like, ain't she too old to be working here? I was like, no, we don't have that. That's a discrimination. That's against the law here in our country. You can work as long as you want to. You don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to be a certain age. You can work as long as you want to. That was just like a cultural shock to her. She couldn't believe it. You know, it was just like I say, when I went there, it was like, you got to be a mannequin. You got to be a certain way. Not here.
No.
That's how that job.
If people knew the way that other people got treated in other countries by what their so-called government, I'm not putting down their governments or something like that. I don't know if they're doing the best that they can do or what, but when they take these big manufacturing, like, I don't want to mention no companies' names, but companies come out of here and they move and go to third world countries to where they make minimal amount of money, like 400 pesos a day is what for 400 pesos a day back. I don't know if it's it's 600 pesos a day. I think maybe it's like some going right.
One peso is 50. It depends
50, right now it's 50, a little over 50 pesos for $1.
Yeah.
It's like 51, 52 now. I don't know. But the higher the peso is there, that means that our money here ain't worth that much. But once our money's worth more, their peso goes down.
Used to be 5-10 years ago when I was
it was 40, it was in the 40s when I went over there like 45, 46 or something when I first went to the Philippines. Now it's 50 something. So right there, the American dollar has lost.
And you said I didn't have a heart.
You have a heart. I know
you didn't have a heart, man. You're making me look like I ain't got one.
I have a heart.
Being pissed off fuels me up, man. It pisses.
I was just
I don't cry in public, man. I mean, I'd really have to be pretty mad.
I didn't think I was ever going to cry on this thing. I don't know why. I can't stand to see children treated. The children have zero.
I get it, dude. It pisses me off.
They can't. They're the most defenseless things in the world. And
They're innocent.